Sorry, I just got visually assaulted by a text message.
Hello, my name is Steve.
And I'm David.
And this is episode 14 of Anime Plus. We are talking about Shoshimin Season 2, Episode 2 for this particular episode.
This week on Shoshimin, pick up immediately where we left off. Jogoro is, and I told you, Jogoro was at that fire. You doubted me.
Yeah, he definitely was at that fire.
So Jogoro calls Kengo and is basically like, "Yo, dog, you made sure not to talk about the summer, right? And the
kidnapping,
the newspaper." And Mr. Kengo is like, "Yeah, I heard from Osanai, and basically we're kind of learning that the three of them are on this like weird diversionary plot. Even though Jogoro and Osanai are not talking, they're still like involved with each other. And
they're playing chess.
Yes, they're playing chess in this weird mangled web of like, I'm not even gonna say 3 dimensions. It's like 4-dimensional chess at this point.
But at this point,
because they're not playing face to face.
No,
so that adds a 4th dimension, and it's just like, ooh.
And at this point, the way Jogoro's activity and behavior has been presented to us, he's not even fucking playing it.
Right.
It's really just Osanai.
Right.
It's really just Yuki.
It's really in the sense that he's kind of like catching on that there is this game that's going on.
Yeah.
And he's like kind of playing, but not actually playing.
He's in the lobby.
Osanai is several steps ahead of him in the sense of the way that they're playing this game is that she has already started the game.
Yeah.
And she's taken like 4 turns already.
Yeah.
And he is now going to have to catch up because she's already 4 turns ahead of him. And we're kind of learning that she's using Kengo to distract Urino from discovering and talking about this story about her kidnapping over the summer. Because as Kengo brought up to Jogoro, they wanted to talk about what happened over the summer. Osanai and Kengo are trying to distract Urino from talking about the kidnapping that happened this summer. And Jogoro's kind of getting like roped along now that Kengo has brought him up to speed in what's happening. And I think with Kengo sending Jogoro the plate from the van is now Jogoro playing the game.
Jogoro had reached out to Kengo to get the photo of the license plate from the van that was involved in the kidnapping to see if it matched the license plate of the van that's currently burning in front of him.
Right. This is now his entry into this like game of 4-dimensional chess.
Yeah.
Because, and poor Urino, he's just going to be a pawn for all 3 of these characters. I don't know if his personality is strong enough to realize that he's being played by all 3 of these people.
No, I feel like Kengo's going to do his best to protect him, as we saw in this episode in the first place.
Fair, but also I feel like in a way Kengo's also playing him as a pawn too, just using him in a more innocent way in the sense that he's using him as a face of the newspaper in a way.
I think Kengo's just trying to protect him.
I don't know. If I was protecting somebody, I wouldn't have him go directly against a guidance counselor's request to not talk about something in a paper, which happens in the episode. We just didn't get there yet.
Urino is presenting the articles that he's writing about the investigation of the fires over this consecutive months to Osanai to get her approval.
Yes, because he wants her
approval, yeah.
But he also wants there to be a level of intimacy in their relationship with each other, because as he's talking with his friend, he's talking about how there's just no connection.
Yeah.
They've been seeing each other for a year and a half, or half a year, and they don't even hold hands. They don't really hang out much.
He doesn't know where she lives.
They don't hang out on weekends.
Yeah.
And his friend is like,
bro, you gotta step up.
Be assertive, bro.
Yeah.
And his paper entries are him trying to be assertive. And when they're going out and getting a dessert where she has a creme brulee, he's kind of like, what do you think about this stuff? Like, he's direct. He's like, tell me about this. What do you think? And she gives more detail and description about the dessert that she loves than all she says is that's impressive to his paper, showing that she's not really invested. And I don't think Homie is realizing this.
No, but her talking about the qualities of the creme brulee is really allegorical to what she's manipulating and doing.
Well, that too. But she's also just not invested in him.
I don't know.
She's not invested in him.
She pats him on the head and says, good boy.
She's using him.
She's been... When has she not used anybody?
She's psychotic.
Yes.
And anyway, the episode wraps up. Oh God, how does the episode wrap up?
he's obviously also doing this because he's getting a lot of attention from his classmates because of the articles, because he keeps over this, I think it's like a 3-month period, they showed these different articles. He's accurately predicting where the next fires may be, which Osanai is definitely the person feeding him this information.
Right.
And then the guidance counselor thing happens where he and Kengo, being the head of the newspaper club of sorts, I think he's the head at this point,
Yes.
get dragged in and get dressed down by the faculty member and telling them to stop. And that's when Kengo says, do your final article. You have to explain how you're figuring out these predictions. He's never explained in his articles how he's coming to these conclusions. Then we cut to the day in the life of Jogoro and his interactions with his girlfriend and how she's trying to train him to not have her do things that he did with Osanai. And they end up back at his house enjoying some of his family's traditional Japanese sweets. I don't know what's going on. I understand her standpoint, but I'm trying to figure out what her goal is.
Yeah, I don't know what her goal is either.
And then we get the final segment where Osanai is meeting with Urino, and she hands him a list of locations with one highlighted, which presumably is going to be the space of the next fire. And the final scene is her going to one of the previous ones that was a bus stop that was set on fire, and she's, I would say, lovingly caressing the wound on the plastic bench.
She's a sick fuck.
The story is presenting us with the idea that Osanai is the one behind the fires.
She's the one who knocks.
But I think it's safe to say that she doesn't do things herself. She gets other people to do them for her. The first person that comes to my mind is the girl she was working with from the gang, who she did the whole kidnapping scheme with. Mm-hmm. Couldn't say though. That's just speculation. I don't think we have enough evidence. That's kind of where we are.
This is getting really nail-bitey already.
Yeah, it's fucking coming hard.
It's in the weeds already.
Yeah.
I feel like the first season was just like an extended beginning of an anime episode.
I think what the first season really did was laid out the personalities of our main characters.
Right. And where most animes will just be like, here's their characteristics in the first 10 minutes of the anime.
Yeah, it took...
This is like, here's a whole fucking season.
Yeah, here's 10 episodes.
10 minutes, 10 episodes.
Yeah, fair.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. But no, it's just like, you're like, Jesus.
But there's a word of caution though too. Osanai seems like the one that's guilty, but how much can we trust that?
I don't know.
We'll see. I mean, obviously we'll find out, but goddamn.
She's a goddamn psychopath.
She is very manipulative and untrustworthy.
I love the 4D chess that the three of them are playing.
Yeah.
I
really don't know how much Jogoro is participating.
He's gonna be. I feel like he's on board now.
Maybe. Who knows? Yeah, maybe.
Kengo is not gonna let him sit this out, especially after this kind of like boot to face with the school.
Kengo's been established as a defensive character, as a protective character, a protector. Yeah. And with this episode, he already has been shown to come to Urino's aid. So if it comes true that Yuki is truly manipulating Urino for her own means and setting him up to fall, Kengo will definitely jump into the fray in a more authoritative position than he already has. He will get way more involved than he has already.
Dude's gonna be a great school administrator one day.
I could definitely see that, yeah.
He's gonna be like a principal,
right?
Or some administrator of sorts, and it's gonna be perfect.
And then there's Jogoro, who is begrudgingly being dragged back into the mess.
Yeah.
He was trying to enjoy his high school life.
He's like, damn it, I got out of this.
Yeah, pretty much. He's like, she left me. What the fuck?
Why am I back?
And again, he doesn't even bother to deny accusations that they were in a relationship when it, as we've always been presented, was not necessarily that type of relationship.
And I thought at the end of last season, they did agree that they were going to keep it that way.
What do you mean?
When they had their breakup, I thought they were agreed to keep it so that everybody thought that they were a thing.
Oh, I don't remember that. Because I remember we had talked about how when the girl whose name I forget, that he is ultimately dating, when she brought up the idea about them being a couple then breaking up, he just didn't even refute their relationship as what everybody sees it as, which we know it wasn't.
I mean, it's kind of hard to explain what their relationship was.
True. He could have just said we were friends, but like you had pointed out, he didn't care. He didn't care enough to refute any of it. Just like, hey, okay. Yeah. Yeah.
It's just easier to be like, sure, whatever you think.
Yeah, it's just easier to agree with the girl that is going to be his girlfriend that he no longer is dating Yuki, even though he never was in the first place.
Yeah, good episode.
Oh, it's so good. We'll see how long this arc goes. Well, it's going to come to a head, I think, next episode.
Probably.
Because the next article that's coming out is going to be the article, well,
retaliatory article.
But remember, his buddy, Urino's buddy, was like, write the one where you explain your method, but then also write another version that you may need to swap in that does it a little bit differently.
Who knows? We have to wait and see.
We do have to wait and see.
This season is kicking it. It's kicking it hard.
Yeah, so far 2 for 2 for really good episodes and really good delivery in the end for leading into the next episode.
Nail biting.
Yep.
Love it.
All right. Well, thanks for listening. Don't forget the regular episode of the podcast where we're reviewing 3 shows for the spring season, which are Kowloon Generic Romance, My Hero Academia Vigilantes, and Lazarus. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Let us know if you're watching Shoshimin and what your thoughts are on it. And I think after Shoshimin, I'm going to have to just sit down and finally watch Hyoka, which is an older anime based off of novels by the same author. Other than that, David is starting up his own channel related to miniature wargame painting and that world. So we will have links down below for you to check out.
It's not just painting either.
Yes. He's going to be talking about all things that he feels like related to the world of miniature wargaming.
And why I love it.
All right. Thanks again. We'll check you guys next time.